So, I'm a drummer, and I know absolutely nothing about Metaphor ReFantazio, other than Persona has some funky-ass music, so I'm pretty sure that Fantasy Persona will have great music as well. We're gonna check out the battle theme for this game. Ooh, haha, that actually a little bum-bum. Oh, I thought they were gonna do it again. Hello. Damn. This MF is spitting. Let's give this one listen through, and then we'll go back and talk about some cool parts. This is giving me, okay, I'm sorry, I have to pause. So this is giving me huge Fire Emblem Three Houses vibes, which is literally Fantasy Persona. So it's also my favorite game of all time. So this is really exciting. I love that pattern, man. Vocals? Yeah. Ooh. Oh, come on! They dropped everything out except for those accents. That was so sick. To me, we'll pause it right there. There's not a lot left to this song. To me, that is an example of making every measure magical. Like just a quick little change up like that, it added so much dynamics. This is a 2-minute long song, but it feels like, there's so many different sections. Now this is made for video games, like these little sections, these short sections will probably play on a loop in the actual gameplay. But it's still like, that's part of the songwriting process for a video game. You need every moment to matter in a game. So when you write these compositions, you got to make every single transition in every single bar, every measure have its own way to make an impact. And like that's, we're going to go back and listen to that because the way they just dropped everything out except for those accented hits right there while Opera Man is spitting, that was so tight. And now they're just back to it, right? That was so cool. What a moment. Wow, man. Okay. So let's run it back here. This is only 2 minutes long. We're just going to kind of play back through it. And then this time we are going to pause and talk about some really cool moments. So right off the rip, you've got that dun 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 dun. It sets the tone, right? And you're hearing elements right here that you hear throughout the rest of the song. So we talked about that part on, what we'll call it the second verse, where everything drops out except for the accentuated hits. You hear those accentuated hits right here at the start, in addition to the horns. Horns are usually used to signify like a moment of triumph, something like that. I don't know if that's the case here. It kind of gives that feeling though, because that's just kind of the vibe that horns and brass give. So you get that right here. There's another section a little bit earlier in the song where the horns are really the focus in the center. So you get like a quick little preview of what's to come just here in this little instrumental intro. Those accented hits here. It's so intense. Bum 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. So you've got that same pattern throughout the entire song. We usually look for like, what is the rhythmic backbone of the song? It is definitely that pattern because it's there for pretty much the entire song. Now, one thing I did notice here in the first verse that it's either not present in the second verse or I just couldn't hear it because they do change up the instrumentation in the second verse. But here in the first one, beyond that dun, 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 done those like deep hard hits, you've got like a, I don't know if it's a xylophone in the background, but you've got this like super rapid 16th note pattern happening on something. It almost just sounds like a clacking, which is why I'm kind of thinking it could be a xylophone. If you're wearing headphones, you might be able to hear it. If you're not wearing headphones, you probably can't, because I'm wearing nice headphones and it's like way back in the mix, but it still adds another layer of movement and motion to this part, right? It's got to be a xylophone. Oh, and I just realized Opera Man here is spitting basically in 16th notes. So a common practice whenever you want to create rhythm without using rhythm instruments is to set a cadence to a specific, not necessarily a BPM, but hits per measure, not beats per minute. So like you've got quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes. That gradually just gets twice as fast. So usually in a song like this, you've got your bass tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are your quarter notes. You can do eighth notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are your eighth notes. So you can really ramp that up and do 16th notes. And that's what you hear on the xylophone in the background. I'm like really fired up about this. I don't know if you guys can hear me trying to catch my breath. I'm just spitting out facts as quickly as I can hear them. You can hear the xylophone in the background hitting those 16th notes, right? That is like about as fast as it can get without sounding like EDM trap hats. You know what I mean? And so then when the vocals come in, they're damn near matching that cadence. And I can't tell if the xylophone is still there or not. Like I said, it's like way back in the mix. Let's see if we can hear the xylophone with the vocals active here. I'm not sure that they're there. I'm not sure that the xylophone is there, but part of the cadence you can hear you squeezing in those 16th notes, not the entire time, obviously. You know, he's not rattling them off nonstop like Eminem or anything, but you're like, hit him, dun da 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 dun da 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 da, right? Those are quick little bursts of his 16th notes, and it just kind of like keeps a lot of good motion and movement going here. And there's the horns, right? Triumph. We've got a choir in the background. This sounds so much like Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's awesome. That's a good thing. I'm of the, I'm going to say very popular belief that all games could do with being and sounding a little bit more like Fire Emblem Three Houses. Dun, 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 dun. And so this is that instrumental turnaround into the second verse. Oh, one more run. Into the second verse, it all drops off and you just get those accents, right? One more. And then everything's back in there. Oh, hey, let's listen for the xylophone. We were going to try and check for that. And I actually think it might be there. It might be way back in the mix still. It is there. It is there. You can barely hear it. It's cool being able to hear the xylophone with the vocals right there, because whenever they match up, whenever they syncopate on those 16th notes, it's just like there's like a burst of energy. It's really, really cool. Now you've got some horns joining in that bum 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 bum. Okay, I think that's like the cutoff for the song. That's where it ends, and then it just kind of starts rolling back around. Wow, what a treat! And hey, this game comes out today, right? Yeah, I think the game is coming out the same day that I'm uploading this video, so that'll be interesting, man. I'm gonna be really curious to hear more of the soundtrack, and then hopefully they release like a full high quality version of the soundtrack so we can hear it in like full fidelity sooner rather than later. Because that was a treat. Like I said, I mean, I'm getting big Fire Emblem Three Houses vibes because that's a game that I'm very, very intimately familiar with. Now, as far as Persona goes, I'm not the guy to talk about Persona. I've never touched a Persona game. I've heard some music in passing, but I've never even like gone out of my way to look up a Persona song or listen to it. And from what I've heard, Persona is very urban, very funky. That could have just been the select offerings that I listen to. That may not be the case for the whole series. I'm not totally sure. So I don't know if this crosses over with Persona at all or not. But But I crossed over with Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I'm really happy about it. That was awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Love the games, love yourself, and I love you. Bye.